What is up, all my fellow weebs and weebettes? It is I, the Grand Master of the Monastery, coming back with another YouTube video. I actually haven't done a YouTube video in quite some time. A lot of life stuff happened, hiatus after hiatus. But hey, now I'm back again, trying to now make videos. So, without further ado, I would like to say I am back and I'm going to now try to start doing more anime uh reviews. Back when I was first making my channel, I did anime reviews. You can look that you can look back when I was covering early Wano and I was covering Black Clover, but then I spent more time trying to focus on my gaming stuff, and now I'm trying to get back to my roots and try to continue on with One Piece. And what better chapter to pick up than this chapter? This was a massive chapter, and man, oh man, will I say, a lot of revelations have come, a lot of agendas are changing and being moved, even though I think they don't need to change and move. And I have a theory. We are all going to get into that on today's episode of our One Piece reviews. Anyways, I'm gonna do a quick summary of the chapter before I get into my like big revelation and theory, and also I'm going to go on a tangent about something. But anyways, as we start off the chapter, we see that the cover page is Frankie trying to guide some turtles to the sea. And by the way, the chapter's title is The Death of Nefertari Cobras, so you already know what basically happened from way back when, and this chapter is essentially just showing how he died. So we leave off on from Cobra looking up at Eam and being faced with the Gorosei. They're basically talking about, or Eam is questioning Cobra on what was Lily's real name. Then we realize that the whole Nefertari family is also a part of the D clan, and then Eam is just kind of doing his villain monologue and is basically just citing how the Poneglyphs were actually scattered throughout the world, and he believes that it wasn't done by accident. It was done on purpose, meaning that Lily probably betrayed Eam and scattered them throughout the world. But this begs the question, why did she scatter them, and how did she scatter them? Now, the community has two theories brought upon it. One theory is that she was the previous user of the pawpaw fruit, which is the Nico no Mi, and she just used those abilities to displace the Poneglyphs, which you know, obviously, is a big thing of Kuma's abilities. Or Lily is Zunisha, and she got turned into Zunisha because she got punished for whatever she did. And this is probably her punishment after scattering the Poneglyphs, and then she got turned into Zunisha and is forced to forever walk the world. But regardless, whichever theory that comes from it, we must continue. So Cobra is looking all shocked, and then the Gorosei shows that they had the heat on them. They're pulling out the straps. They're pulling out the guns. The one Gandhi looking dude is pulling out his sword. So you know, Zoro's final fight incoming. I can already see it. So anyways, we're now getting prepared for Cobra to getting assassinated. Sabo jumps in with the fire fist, and he basically says to himself that he hopes that he was going to just simply neg diff all of the growers say in one go and Eam in one go, but then they transform into these demonic beasts. And so this is hinting to the reader that the Gorosei has mythical devil fruits that are based around what I presume demons or mythological monsters that are like demon like we see that there is a whole bird like to dissect this a little bit more, we see that there's kind of this huge salamander looking thing, we see that there's this kind of pig looking thing, uh one of them has horns, and so it's kind of like a minotaur, and then one of them is like a bird, and people are speculating it's a cockatrice, and then another one, I don't know, kind of looks long. So from what I can kind of make out, maybe one of them is a basilisk, which is the one on the wall. One of them is a cockatrice, which is basically like a chicken-headed dragon that turns you to stone if like you look at it. A basilisk is essentially like kind of this lizard like dragon that poisons you to death if you look at it. You got a minotaur looking thing, I don't know, something with the horns. You kind of got like a pig looking thing, I guess kind of like a hell pig. What, like an Inteleon? Maybe he's an ancient Zoan, but that's kind of weird. Like, ancient Zoans have never been shown to be on the same level as mythical zones, unless Oda's trying to highball them and he's trying to say it doesn't matter. Or maybe ancient zones just have stronger regenerative healing? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, but I'm gonna say that it's going to be some mythical pig of some sort. I don't know what mythical pig is out there, but uh, I really can't tell. I really can't. I'm kind of out of guesses on that one. I just can tell that it looks like a pig due to the head shape and the ear shape. And then I heard that there's a theory that the little like longer one, which I believe is kind of like that taller girl, say with the long split mustache, or Fu Manchu that kind of runs down, that's gray. I think he turns into this longer looking shadow monster thing, and I think people are saying that it's a Leviathan, or speculating that it's a Leviathan. Now I can see it, but you know, it's exciting nevertheless. Anyways, we see a Dindin Mushi click on, and I guess it's recording. Sabo is talking to Cobra while he's on the ground. We take a flashback, or we have a flashback to Sabo talking to Ace and Luffy a little when they were kids, and Ace just simply gives Sabo, or puts a D right in between Sabo's name. Pause. And it's it reads out sad oh. So looking like sad boy. But what can this mean though? Like I'm really diving deep into this chapter, because like Oda wouldn't just simply put a flashback, like a throwaway flashback, especially one with Ace in it, just in here for no reason. Like, this is a red herring. And so what is Sabo supposed to be sad? Like, if Joy Boy is Luffy, right? Then what is Sad Boy? Is that just a moniker? Is that just like the antithesis of Joy Boy? Does that mean something bad is going to happen towards Sabo? Does this mean Sabo's going to sacrifice himself for Luffy, like Ace sacrificed himself from Luffy during the final confrontation with M? Thus, Sabo is like the sad tale, like he's a tragic tale. I don't know. Uh But this could also mean, maybe it doesn't mean any of that. Maybe it's just a write-off joke, but it means that anyone can be a D clan member, and the D clan isn't like a clan based off of blood, but it's more based off an ideal that if you want to be a member of the D clan, you can be a member of the D clan as long as you inherit what it means to be a D clan member. Possibly. Possibly that is what it means. Anyways, we further get into the chapter, and we see this little pointy tail looking thing. A lot of people are saying an arrow, but like I said, the Gorosei looks like demonic monsters based off of myth, and we have a tail. And we have like a tail that resembles a demon's tail to me. Maybe this is M. Maybe M is has eaten like the Akuma no Mi model, say like mythical model Satan. Uh, and he basically, his power is that he could like just slink across the field like a shadow, or maybe control people's nightmares, or and then like just freely use his tail as a kind of spear and just kind of like rams into people, and that's how he attacks. I mean, it's really interesting. And then we see that it stabs Cobra in Sabo at the same time, and it makes Cobra, or makes Sabo drop Cobra. Now, I'm going to go on a little tangent because I'm seeing a whole lot of disrespect towards Sabo. And I would just like to reiterate, guys, that people in this chapter saw that Fujitora, which give me 1 second. I believe we are about to get to that point in the story. Yeah. I think I either skimmed over it or whatnot, but anyways, the fact of the matter is that according to this chapter, I believe, yes, according to this chapter, uh, which we get into later, so this is kind of a spoiler. Head on. It is revealed that Fujitora was fighting Green Bull, and the reason why I spoiled this point is because this comes into my little tangent. People are trying to downplay Sabo's power because they're saying, oh, the reason why Fujitora was bandaged after the Mary's Raw was because he fought Green Bull. And sure, you could say that, but this makes no sense. This is just nonsensical thinking to say that Sabo is weaker than an admiral. If you remember back in chapter 1083, and I'm about to pull up the receipts. I'm about to print a receipt for y'all. We saw Karasu and Morley simply fighting, like, and they were going at it with the admirals, even though they were suppressed. But there are a few key moments that you need to be asking yourself. One, CP0, which is later to be known as CP0, which are the previous CP9 members, they stated that even though the admirals are holding back, the commanders aren't weak in their own right. These are the commanders who are basically subordinates of Sabo. Sabo upscales from these commanders' feats, just off of narrative and rank alone. So keeping that in mind and putting a pin in it for later, you gotta see that Morley and Karasu, who are both confirmed devil fruit users, Morley using the dig fruit, and Karasu using the suit fruit. They are also hockey I don't know if they're hockey masters, but we do know that they use hockey due to the SBS. Morley is a confirmed observation and armament hockey user, which I'm sure all the commanders are, especially for their position being revolutionary commander. I'm sure it goes without saying. Now, further on from this, we have CP0 saying that the commanders aren't slouches, and then you see that Morley is like bum rushing Green Bull and stabbing Green Bull. Keep in mind, we go all the way back to like what, chapter 1054, 1055 Green Bull. We are seeing Green Bull completely dominate. We're seeing Green Bull completely effortlessly, and I mean effortlessly dominate like Yamato, the Scabbards, even though they're injured from Onigashima. So I mean, he effortlessly swept King and Queen before that, when he even though they are still weak from the raid on Onigashima. So he has no problem sweeping these high tier characters that are slightly weakened, and he's not even really going all out in this case scenario. But he's getting pushed by the Rev commanders. This makes the Rev commanders by minimum first Yonko commanders, all of them. So going from there, and even though they are nerfed from their destructive capacities, they should not be nerfed through their speed or base strength, since they don't need to really hold back on those two attributes if they're just kind of running the ones in a close quarters combat scenario. The most that they can't really do is just their large AoE attacks, because they can't get the Celestial Dragons caught up with it. Later, we see in chapter 1084 that the revolutionary commanders separated from the admirals, and then went to go try to rescue Kuma. So the commanders scrapped with the admirals for a bit, then dipped, and then apparently sometime after that, Fujitora was brawling with Green Bull. That is no diss to the commanders. That is no diss to the Sabo. All that means is that the commanders overpowered the suppressed admirals, because the commanders are bare minimum Yonko commanders, maybe even Yonko commander plus level. We don't know yet. They overpowered the admirals since they can't use all of their arsenals. They can't go awakening or anything. Then they blew through them, secured their objective in going to Kuma, and all regrouped, and then Fujitora and Green Bull were going at it, which then led to Fujitora getting bandaged. Now, I'm not saying that the Rev commanders are stronger than the admirals. The admirals are obviously stronger than the Rev commanders, but when you have the admirals being suppressed like that, then the Rev commanders are just simply like they're flexing. They are simply flexing on the commanders, bro. That is no diss towards them. Okay, that is no diss towards them. It is all good in the hood with how the admirals are being portrayed, because it's clear that from 1055 Yonkos are over admirals. Shanks made Green Bull run away. Suppressed admirals are like extreme diffing with Rev commanders, mate, or whatever. And then if they don't suppress themselves and they go all out, then they're stronger than the Rev commanders. Now, the thing is that when you have Sabo come in play, he upscales from the Rev commanders, meaning he is bare minimum admiral level. You know why Sabo, you know why Oda didn't show Sabo fighting Green Bull or Fujitora in that scenario? It wasn't because Sabo can't fight them. It's not because Sabo is weaker than the admirals. It's because if Sabo fought the admirals and the admirals were going suppressed, Sabo would have completely swept them. That's bare minimum. The admirals have to go all out against Sabo. That is cut clear as crystal from this chapter. Because if the admirals are struggling with the Rev commanders, the admirals are supposed to be stronger than the Rev commanders going all out, then what are they going to do against Sabo when Sabo can go all out and the admirals can't? And then not to mention, Sabo just pulled up to theoretically and more or less 99.9% most likely those characters in that room are all cracking top 10, with Eam being basically top 1 in the series. So to mean to tell me that people are downplaying Sabo's strength because he got stabbed through the chest running away from 6 of the top 10, with one of them being top 1, while carrying an injured King Cobra on his back. And he's not even fighting. He's not even trying to be on guard. He's trying to get the hell out of Dodge. And he got stabbed through the chest, lost Cobra, and then he had to basically dip and made it out alive back to safety in Kamabaka Kingdom as of chapter 1082. That is not an L, that is not an anti-feat, that is a whole dub, because you can literally put anyone in the top 15 or so in that scenario. What is Luffy doing in that scenario right now against all of the Gorosei and Eam? Dead. Zoro, dead. Sanji, dead. Literally anyone else. Hell, you can even put Gart there. He's dead. Aka Inu, dead. Like, what are we talking? The agenda states that these are the final fights of the series, meaning they are probably bare minimum Yonko level, especially when we're talking about Saturn J. Garcia pulling up to Egghead, and that's potentially Luffy's main fight. The agenda states that Sabo is Admiral level, bare minimum, possibly even stronger than that. So I don't know what people are getting, that Sabo is weaker than the Admirals, or Sabo is weak, or Sabo is a fraud. All of this chapter literally just upscaled Sabo's power indirectly. What are we talking about? Anyways, tangent over, and I hope people are educated, or more educated about this, and stop reading Two Piece, okay? Sabo is strong. When Sabo comes back into the story, we are seeing awakened Mera Mera. They're like, stop. It's done. That's just cope. That's just cope because the Admiral stocks are just completely down, and you guys are trying to figure out some way to hype them up. Thank you, Fujitora. Like, trying to praise Fujitora, getting on your hands and knees. Anyways, where my theory comes in now is from this panel. After Sabo gets hit by, I presume, Eam's tail in his hybrid or full form, his devil form, let's say, his devil trigger. Shouts out to DMC. I want DMC 6 to hurry up, get here. But we have this panel that is oddly constructed, and what I mean by that is we see Cobra telling Sabo to go, but then we have a text bubble that gets interrupted by a roar. Now, we see that I can make out, it says "ust be," and then we see an ectid, or we see an ectid. I think people are saying that Cobra is telling Sabo that the Poneglyphs must be protected. But I don't think that the Poneglyphs must be protected, because before then he's saying, fly the flag that heralds the world's eventual dawn. If we're talking about flying the flag that is supposed to herald the world's eventual dawn, don't we think that Luffy should be flying that flag? Wait a minute. I just had a revelation. I think Oda is setting up Luffy, and it's not going to be Luffy versus Eam by himself. It's going to be Luffy and Sabo versus Eam tag team, because with all the with all the sad bow stuff and the joy boy stuff, and then the Luffy and Sabo parallels, and they're all kind of converging into Eam. There's going to be a huge, I theorize, a huge travesty is going to be at the end of One Piece, and it's going to revolve around Sabo. It's going to revolve around Luffy within that fight against Eam. And it's going to be because maybe Sabo isn't a D and he isn't a part of the Destiny, but because Ace gave him the D pause, by jokingly, Sabo is becoming a D clan member in a sense. Like, this is his way to becoming a D clan member. Like, he might not be a person of let's say prophecy, but he is the X factor. Sabo is the X factor. He is the person who's not supposed to be in the prophecy, but he is going to make himself into the prophecy because he is just that guy. He is Himothy. The prophecy does not talk about this man, but he is going to work with Luffy, who is a part of the prophecy, to bring the dawn. And also, I'm sorry, my cat's tail is getting all in the way of the camera. I was afraid this was going to happen. But that is going to be my wild guess at what's going to happen at the end of One Piece. Since I feel like this chapter is setting it up, in foreshadowing that Sa-D bow. But coming back to the flag that heralds the world, quote of Cobra, he's saying it to Sabo. But us as the reader, we're thinking Luffy's supposed to be doing that. But what if this is Sabo's? What if Sabo is the one that's supposed to fly the flag, but Luffy is the one that's supposed to usher in the new world, or like the new era, so to speak? I don't know, like, Sabo's supposed to fly the flag of the revolutionary or the revolution. Luffy's supposed to usher in the new dawn as the pirate king. I don't know. I can't really speak of that, but what it eludes me is that I don't think that it's the Poneglyphs must be protected, because I feel like that's too simple. I feel like that's too straightforward, and I feel like that's too obvious, because think about it. Why would the Poneglyphs need to be protected if most of the Poneglyphs are missing because Lily displaced them? Because if the world government knew where all the Poneglyphs were, if the world government knew where all the Poneglyphs were, then they would have just easily secured the Poneglyphs over 800 years. There's no way that that would have been a problem to them. So we know that from this chapter, Eam doesn't know where all of the Poneglyphs are. And the only Poneglyphs that we do know in the story are hidden in Zunisha, or hidden on Zunisha, which is away from the world government, or they're in captivity through the Yonkos, which were Big Mom or Kaido. We know one of the Poneglyphs is missing now, and that Poneglyph is what we theorize in the hands of Scopper Gabin on the Oda Jackson that's painted black, just going through the seas. That's another theory for another time. That may or may not be factual, but we know that the other road Poneglyph is missing, and that is connected to the man marked with flames. We do know that as much, and we know that the other Poneglyph was, I believe, in Fishman Island. So the world government only knows like where a few of the poneglyphs are, but not where all of the poneglyphs are. And so that begs the question, why would Lily need to separate the poneglyphs? That means at one point in time, the poneglyphs were all together in one area, in one part of the world. And Cobra is saying reconnect the poneglyphs. He's not saying protect the poneglyphs. He's saying reconnect the poneglyphs, because when you reconnect the poneglyphs, then that means the flag that herald the world's dawn will soon arise, meaning that the poneglyphs are probably connected to Joy Boy, which Joy Boy is connected to whatever the ancient kingdom is. Whatever the ancient kingdom is, like the flag that heralds the world dawn is whatever is connected to the ancient kingdom is. And when you connect all of the poneglyphs together, you get the One Piece. It is all there in Raftel, and it is literally just there. That is why Goldie Roger said he was too early. He does not have the power to usher in the new era in the world's dawn, because you need the resurrection of Joy Boy. The resurrection of Joy Boy did not come until Luffy unlocked his or awakened his devil fruit in Wano against Kaido. And he needed to do that because Kaido was basically just really strong and believed himself as that Joy Boy. And so Luffy basically had a boss up and said, nah, I'm Joy Boy. I am him. And now that Joy Boy is brought back to the world, now you can reconnect the poneglyphs, because something is going to basically just connect, or some, I really don't know. The world's a lion or something. I really can't tell. But my theory is that whatever Cobra is telling Sabo right here and right now is going to play at Raftel, and is going to be them connecting all of the poneglyph rubbings, or all of the poneglyphs. I don't know how. Maybe Kuma comes into that equation, and using the pawpaw fruit to basically just send all of the poneglyphs at Raftel, kind of like a Jenga, not a Jenga piece, but like a puzzle piece, and then it all like reads out hidden text, or all of the all the poneglyphs read out all the history of the world. All of the Void Century is in those poneglyphs, meaning all, oh wait, big brain theory. All of the poneglyphs read out all the text of the Void Century, which all connect into the One Piece. The One Piece is all the secret history of those like 400 years or 800 years that basically all went missing. It all went missing because Lily displaced them. You all bring them back because it creates the One Piece. The One Piece leads to the undiscovered ancient weapon of Uranus, which then brings up all three ancient weapons in the series. You have Poseidon, which is Shirahoshi. You have Pluton, which is a battleship, which is underneath Wano. And then you get the One Piece, and then you basically unlock the secret, I don't know, secret X marks the spot of Uranus. Bam, there's the One Piece. There's the theory. I think I unlocked it. Big brain play. But anyways, as we continue on with this chapter, we see that King Wapol peered into the eyeball, like a peephole of the shadow room, and then he's saying he knows too much. He's saying that they'll kill him if he knows, so he's now frantically running out. We see that the royals, or all the kings and queens, are trying to wrap up the reverie. We see that Shirahoshi, or not Shirahoshi, but Vivi is tied up due to Jabra and Khalifa and the other members of CP0, which were formerly CP9. And then we see that Wapol busts through the walls, chomping everything, trying to make a quick exit, and Vivi uses this time to escape by jumping into Wapple's mouth. And then later we know that they managed to escape and make it to Big News Morgan's, which is about to spill some big news. Anyways, that is that of the chapter. I hope you love the theory, and I'm telling you, the One Piece has to be all of the Poneglyphs, and when you put them together, you get the one piece of information that was missing from way back then of the 800 years. And that one piece is all of what Robin is trying to figure out and what Law is trying to figure out, which also means that Law will be at Raftail. And for all of my Law fans, because I am a Law stan, Law is my favorite character. For all my Law stands, this upscales list, because guess what? That means our boy is going to be at Raftail, and that is when he's going to understand his true meaning, the meaning of the D-Clan, what happened in the 800, or what happened in the Void Century, because all of it is going to get connected. Anyways, with all that being said, I hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how you guys love the video, and let me know if you want to see more. With all that being said, peace out all my fellow weebs and weebettes, and see you in the next one.